Well, hello everyone. My name is Jeff Lizerbram. I'm a pre-sales architect here at Managed Solution. And today we're going to be talking about controlling your IT spend in the new year. I'm going to show you 4 Microsoft tips and tricks that you can do right away in 2024 to help reduce your IT spend. Let's get after it. So for our agenda today, we're going to be talking about those 4 tips. Number 1, consolidating security, compliance, and productivity tool sets all within one Microsoft 365 service. Number 2, controlling modern workplace sprawl. Gosh, how many of us have encountered file and folder sprawl all over the place without understanding how much of this storage is actually taken up? Tip number 3, discovering and limiting shadow IT. Hey, we don't know what we don't know. And I'm going to show you ways where we can know things that are going on within our organization and to help shave some of those costs. And tip number 4, analyzing, predicting, and controlling your Azure costs. If you're running Azure infrastructure as a service, this is going to be a key topic for you. And I'm going to finish off by talking about managed solution, why we do IT, and our drive to help our customers do better. I bet most of you know that Microsoft has so many licenses to offer. We go kind of crazy sometimes with the number of licenses that there are available. But to break it down a little bit more simplistic is that in the business class of licenses, we've got our business basic, standard, and premium. And if you are an organization of 300 or less, Microsoft Business Premium is going to be that be all, end all license that has everything under the sun in terms of productivity, security, and compliance. Here are some of the features. Identity, device, application, and document security are all within the Microsoft 365 Business Premium license. And paired with all of the productivity tools that we're so accustomed to using every day, it's a really good solution to consolidate all of the tool sets under one umbrella. What we find all too often are customers who are leveraging third-party solutions, which is fine because there are best-of-breed solutions that handle things like advanced email protection, single sign-on, endpoint protection, things like that. But those costs can really add up over time, especially if you're mixing your Microsoft collaboration and productivity tools along with other third-party tools, really that do a lot of the same thing. In a business premium license, you get all of these tools all bundled together in what amounts to about half of that cost per user per month. So there's a lot of value in half the cost of doing business with these licenses. A popular question that I get often is, aren't I putting all of my eggs under one basket under the Microsoft umbrella? Well, the truth is yes, you are. But the other truth is that a lot of these tools evolved from best-of-breed products that Microsoft acquired and brought under their umbrella to provide the best service available for your security, compliance, and productivity. Well, this next section, I have this image here on purpose. You are not authorized. Because can you imagine if we authorized users to create teams just on the fly? And what happens is the storage can grow out of control. We also see a huge discrepancy out there in the field quite often between active sites and sites that are not active, or total sites. And this is just due to giving users the ability to create teams on the fly. And files as well. We see another huge discrepancy between active files and total number of files that are just sitting there, really, that should be in other areas of storage. So quite often, we're trying to avoid users from creating teams left and right. I'm going to show you a way that we can accomplish this. So let's take the example of Alan, who is logged in here. And Alan is going to go ahead and just create a team. And he can create one from scratch or from a group or from a template. but he's going to just do this and create a public team. So he's going to give it a name, and he will begin the creation process here. And before you know it, nice work, Alan, you've created a team. He can go ahead and add members to the team. And before you know it, he's working in here and he has some file storage that is allocated to this team. And the thing is that by default, all of the users in the organization have this capability. So how do we combat this and limit the usage of teams? Well, I'm using PowerShell here, and if your IT administrator has the capabilities of using PowerShell, you can create the policy to not create teams for users if they're part of a specific security group. Now that this is configured, Alan, who is still logged into the same session, is going to attempt to create another team. So here we go. Alan will start the process. Let's create another team here. And upon creating it, it's saying he is not authorized. So that's a sad face for Alan, but it's a good day for your organization, and your IT admin and the CFO has become a superhero. So when we talk about shadow IT, what does that actually mean? Well, in a typical situation, we might be using Microsoft 365 services with our Entra IDs. And yes, we might be using some other applications that go beyond Microsoft 365 that are allowed or sanctioned applications. But the reality is most organizations don't always know all of the applications that are used within the environment. And that's what we call shadow IT. Shadow IT lends itself to increased budget, unknown expenses, and things like that. Well, we're going to walk through a tool called Microsoft Defender for Cloud that's going to give us leverage to control shadow IT and to help reduce those costs. Well, let's move on over to the Cloud App Security Portal, and this is part of the Defender for Cloud app. And yes, it is an add-on. Check with your CSP licensing provider or direct with Microsoft to see what that cost per user is. But it is a very valuable product that's going to help you in shadow IT. I wanted to take a moment here just to pause and have the CFO ask your IT administrator how many applications are running in my environment. The IT administrator might say something like, oh, 20 or 30, but you might be kind of surprised because when we run a shadow IT report, which you can do directly from this portal, we're going to see probably a different picture here. And in this example, we're actually seeing almost 300 applications in the environment that's being utilized, and we don't really know it. So Cloud App Security is going to be your best friend in discovering shadow IT. Let's dig into this a little bit further. And what we can do is we can look at some reports, and a Cloud Discovery dashboard is right here at our fingertips. And there's a few ways we can look at it. We have continuous reports and we have snapshot reports. Let's take a look at a snapshot report. This is going to give us much more data that was collected over a larger portion of time. And we can see discovered applications in the environment. We can see IP addresses that are leveraging the applications, as well as we can see the users that are leveraging the applications here. If we change it over to a continuous report, we're going to see less data, but it's going to be more up to date in terms of the activity. Let's take a look at discovered applications. Here you can see kind of a different list of applications that have cropped up in a little bit more recently. We can see the IP addresses. We can also see the users and the machines that are associated with the usage of those applications. For example, if you wanted to drill down into a Dell's PC to see what type of applications are being utilized, let's look at discovered apps. And sure enough, you can see AWS, you can see Google, Fastly, and Yahoo. You can also see the scores of those applications on whether they're sanctioned or unsanctioned. Going back to the Cloud Discovery dashboard, let's take a look at a snapshot report. And in this case, let's take a look at social networking types of applications that are running in the environment. Now to do so, we can go browse by category, click on social network, and sure enough, we've got the Yammers, the Twitters, the X is now, and we have Facebook. And Facebook, for example, we can take a look at the compliance setup of Facebook in terms of security, compliance, the legal areas of it, and we can get some information and understand what this application is doing in terms of data ownership. And if we want, we can make some configurations. Another really cool thing is we can drill down on the application visibility by the risk score. The lower the risk score, the riskier the application. Let's take cloud storage type of applications, for example, in this category. Here we have some pretty low scoring applications, which mean that they're much more risky in the environment. This power folder, for example, we can set it to block immediately so that none of the users in the organization can access it. That's a way to protect your organization. From here, we could also create a template for any unsanctioned applications that might have, say, like a score of 4 or less. Here, we simply check the tag app as unsanctioned. We create the policy. And then before we know it, we could look at the discovered applications. And if we scroll down the list, we're going to see that other applications that are at a score of 4 or lower are going to be blocked within the organization. From here, we also have access to alerts. And alerts are going to tell us any kind of unsanctioned applications that might be appearing within the visibility of the organization. From here, we look at cloud discovery, and sure enough, we have some new risky cloud storage applications based on our policy that have popped up here. And it's blocked, which is a good thing. So hopefully that covers how to use cloud app security to discover IT or shadow IT areas of your company. Next, we're going to show you how to reduce Azure costs, especially if you're using something like Azure Infrastructure as a Service. So here we are in portal.azure.com for this customer, and we're going to move right over to cost management. And you can get to it several different ways. Let's actually click on the cost management section, and we're going to go right into analyze costs. Now, the most common thing to look at are accumulated costs. So let's go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, for my subscription and the accumulated costs, that's the setting, that's the view that it's on, and it's the month of December, I can see how much of the infrastructure costs are accumulating day after day within the month of December. Now, more importantly, I want to know what the forecast is. How much am I really going to be spending this month? And there you go. The forecast is just under $800 per month. We can dig in a little bit further into virtual machines, for example. And if you want to just look at the virtual machines themselves and look at the location they're in and maybe even drill even further by resource group name, we can do that. So going back out, what we want to go to next are advisor recommendations. And this is where you're probably going to see a lot of savings in terms of costs for your infrastructure. Right here, I can see that there are 3 highly impactful solutions that I can do to help reduce costs, such as just simply shutting down machines, or maybe going into more of like reserved instances. So here I can see that I'm going to be saving up to $4,000 annually by moving to things such as reserved instances. So there you have it. There's the cost management section of Azure, which is really going to help a CFO determine what to do and how to control costs. Finally, I can't leave you without telling you a little bit about Managed Solution. We were founded in 2002. We have architects and engineers of an average industry experience of over 20 years each. We're in the top 130 Microsoft consultancies in the world. We are a US-based 24/7 help desk. 100% of our resources are onshore and part of our Managed Solution family. And while we specialize in healthcare, biotech, finance, and nonprofits, we also venture out into other verticals as well. We are an award-winning Microsoft partner. We hold 3 specialized Microsoft Solution partner distinctions in security, modern work, and Azure. And a unique offering within Managed Solution is our Office 365 CSP team. This is your team of individuals who focus on licensing, and they help demystify all of the licensing complexities of your environment. Part of that also includes Premier support directly with Microsoft and optimization. So if you're looking to help reduce costs from a standpoint of license usage, they are definitely there to help you. On top of the CSP services we provide, we have a full managed services help desk, like I mentioned, but we also go into professional services. So if you're looking for that one-time project to get something done, we're definitely here to help. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we hope you all have a great day.